Good morning, friends and family. I'm hoping that this video will come in well for day 172 in my rebellious reality. I'm at my local high school, walking down towards my local high school, which is right near my home, with a baby, with a wrapped baby. I may have hacked comfort nursing. Every baby's different, but I wanted to come on and share my experience because I would have loved to have found a video on this. So basically, I have some videos about breastfeeding, about comfort nursing, how I'm a new mom and my baby's gonna be 2 months on Tuesday. 8 weeks on Tuesday, right? So as a new mom, I had no fucking clue what to expect, right? And all of a sudden, she's just nursing around the clock, and I'm doing this baby-led situation, right? So I'm letting her lead me. And my neighbor, morning. So funny, my neighbors here, out of all the places. So, I guess I'm like too tired to do this. I'm trying to come to you guys alive for once. Okay, so basically I'm doing this baby-led thing, and when I let her lead me, it led me to sitting on the couch all motherfucking day, okay? My mental health was spiraling down the toilet. I have not sat for this amount of time in probably my life. My hips are shot from sitting so much. There's just so many, like I was getting like these bouts of like agitation because I'm just like, I can't fucking do this anymore, you know, like, oh my God, like when is this gonna end? And I wasn't being the mom that I wanted to be to this precious little flower that I brought into the world, you know? And it's because I'm human. And it's because I have a life that I wanted to live in, you know, simultaneously with this new being that I brought into the world, and it just like wasn't happening. And so as I just researched like for the first month, and it came to the point where I'm like, okay, it doesn't seem like all this feeding is for her to eat. Like it doesn't seem like she's hungry all the time. And then I found this concept called comfort nursing. And so then I realized like she's using my body as a pacifier, and she plays with me sometimes, and I'm just like, I get so irked. I'm like, I am not a chew toy, you know? So I started to, we started to take her out early. We have been taking her out since like her first or second week of life. And what I would notice is I would nurse her right before we went out. And then even if she was kind of like moody and throwing little fits, as soon as we'd bring her into the car and put her in the car seat, for the most part, she would end up knocking out, and then we would carry her in the store or whatever, and she would sleep. And by the time we got home, it'd be like 2 hours since she's sleeping, maybe more. One time, she slept for like 4 hours when I was out once. So, I started thinking about this and this whole comfort nursing situation, and for the longest time I wasn't able to wrap her comfortably because she didn't have good head support or neck support. She still is gaining it, you know, but it's much better than it was, and she's gotten bigger. So I feel safe now with her in this wrap, and I didn't before. So there was a period of time where I couldn't really wrap her comfortably. But what I started doing, this is my 4th day, is that I will nurse her and then I will burp her. And as I'm burping her, I have her just like this in my chest. I've learned that that's like a reset for the baby. So I'll be burping her, center of my chest like this, and she'll start rooting. Like going from side to side, like pecking her head, going from side to side. She wants more milk, but I just finished feeding her, right? This is how I would get stuck on the couch over and over and over because I'm listening to her. But she doesn't always necessarily know what she wants. We are all just seeking comfort. That is our primal instinct. So she's seeking comfort. So basically what I started to do is guide her. And she can always turn around and say, no, I don't want to do this. But it's been working so far. And I was doing some research about the witching hours last week, maybe over the weekend. And they were saying how the first nap is the most important, the first nap of the day. And a big thing that was happening is that she wasn't napping. She wasn't ever sleeping during the day. She would just constantly nurse. In between nursing, we'd change the diaper. Then she'd fall asleep. I'd try to put her down because I want to live my life, but she doesn't want to be away from me. So then she'd wake up, and it would just be this cycle of me trying to put her down, her waking up. She would never sleep in between feedings. And then as soon as she woke up, she'd want to nurse again because now she's upset that I was trying to leave her and she needs comfort. You know what? It was like a vicious cycle. So, I have started to wrap her, and the way that looks is that I basically use it as a distraction. And so I'll burp her after the feeding. I pat her like this. When she starts rooting, just in that rhythm, I just pat her over and over and over. Many times I can stop her rooting just by that, and she'll kind of like really settle down and sometimes fall asleep depending on how late it is and stuff like that. So after I get her settled down, I will put her in this wrap. And even if she's still rooting a little bit or she's a little fussy, I will start walking. And as soon as I start walking, this is proven 100% so far. So and this is my 4th day. As soon as I start walking, see how it shakes? It shakes back and forth. This is like the same thing that goes on when the baby's in the womb. And so she like knocks out like that. And so on my way to walk down here, she was like sticking her head out, putting it back in. I was just supporting her head, just talking to her, and now she's sleeping. And so this is saving my life. I have been able to get 3 to 4 naps in a day while she's wrapped. My hips are a little upset about this because I haven't had a chance to work on them a ton yet, but this is saving my life. And I feel the first day that I successfully did this, I finally felt connected to her because it was so clear how we had been working against each other. The breastfeeding was good. The constant breastfeeding was good for her, but it was terrible for me. Now she's napping. She's way more mellow. At the end of the day, there's no more witching hours. She has been getting like a gas attack, like very brief gas attacks, like way late at night, right before we want to put her to bed for the past few nights. And that seems to rotate. She was having longer ones for a while earlier in the day. And so I think that her digestive system is still just figuring some stuff out. And yeah, she's just way more mellow, doesn't cry as much, lets me put her down more. Still not for extended periods of time, but basically what I really feel is happening, because we're getting to know each other in this amount of time. You know, we've only been together for a couple months. We're getting to know each other still. She's still developing a lot, very rapidly. And she's seeking comfort from nursing. Babies cannot regulate their nervous systems. They need co-regulation. They need an adult to be there with them to help them regulate. That's why that whole cry it out method is not effective. I mean, it can be effective, but it can also really traumatize the baby, because they can't calm themselves down. They don't have that ability. They rely on us to calm them down. And if they are left to cry for too long and unsupported, it could really do damage to their nervous system. I think that is something that happened to me as a child, and I've just learned a lot about that, and worked through a lot of that shit in my body, in my own body. So anyway, that's how I learned that babies cannot regulate themselves. So they need a nervous system. She needs my body, my nervous system, to be able to regulate if she doesn't feel safe just chilling on her own somewhere, you know? So instead of comfort nursing for that, instead of nursing to get that co-regulation, that comfort, she's now on my body getting the same comfort she needs in a different way. And we are both having a better quality of life for it, because like I said, she's more mellow, she's calmer, and that is all the nervous system too. You know, right now her nervous system is developing. So if she's constantly in a state of like upsetness and, you know, fight or flight, like high regulated nervous system, it's not good for her, and it's training her to be a certain way. So the more I can keep her in comfort and keep her nervous system down regulated, the better it's going to be for her development, the better it's going to be for the household, the better it's going to be. So I hope this helps somebody. And like I said, I know all babies are different. This is just how I've hacked this with my baby. It is summertime, so what I find is walking long distances, like I can walk around the house and sometimes get her to settle down initially when I put her in the wrap, but it really seems to be beneficial to like get outside my house and just walk for like a pretty long distance. It like solidifies it, you know? But it's summer, so doing this in the winter might, you know, walking around the house, I don't know how, like if this would be as effective. And something else that I really realized is that I've been having this, so not only is this walking and the wrapping and all of this good for all the reasons that I mentioned, but also as, you know, healing postpartum, you really want to be exercising. And that was something that was driving me crazy sitting on the couch. I couldn't fucking do anything. I couldn't really get up and move. And what ended up happening to me is that I started retaining all of this fluid. My feet were enormous like 3 days ago when I started using compression. And then my friend, who is a nurse, works for a vascular doctor, said that what happens is with pregnancy is that the veins dilate in the legs and they need compression to start optimally working again. And I guess it can take another person responded to my story yesterday that I wrote about my fluid retention and what I'm doing about it. Another person said that it can take like a year or so. Not signing up for that shit, but just said to like give myself grace and yada yada. So anyway, it's really, really, really beneficial when if you have fluid retention. I thought it was because of my kidneys, but no matter if it's because of my kidneys or because my vessels are dilated, activity is in many cases the remedy for that. So it's also adding more activity to my life. Every time I wrap her, I walk around a bit. I get at least like 1.5 miles in a day. Amazing. Okay. Like I said, I hope this helps somebody. I appreciate you guys being here on my journey. I hope you have such a good weekend, a holiday weekend. It's 4th of July on Monday. How the hell is it July already? It really does feel like every day goes on for a lifetime, but then I look at the clock and I'm like, how is it 9 o'clock at night? And then I look at the calendar and I'm like, how is it July 1st? Very, very strange this day and age. All right, love you guys. See you tomorrow. Mwah.